Hello. So we are going to do our 1.2 note today, which is solving multi-step equations. First thing is we have some vocabulary words. Inverse operations. Let's talk about that really quick. Inverse operations. This is where you have two operations that undo each other. So two operations that undo each other. And then one other word that we'll see later today is the word mean, which is where you're going to add all the values together. After you do that, you're going to divide the total by how many values are in the data set. All right. Then we have a core concept here. It says to solve a multi-step equation, simplify each side of the equation if necessary. Then use inverse operations to isolate the variable. So steps here, simplify each side. That means combine like terms, do your distributive property. Then do inverse operations to get your variables on one side, your numbers on the other, so we can solve. So let's look at example number 1 here. We're going to solve 2.5x minus 13 equals 2, and we're going to check our solution. I'm going to zoom in, just make this a little bit easier. So my first step is I'm going to add 13 to both sides, and I'm going to get 2.5x equals 15. Now I can undo the multiplication that I see here by dividing both sides by 2.5. Notice how I divide using a fraction, not by using the good old-fashioned divide symbol. My 2.5's cancel, leaving me with x equals, and then if you need to put in the calculator, you get x equals 6. We're going to do a quick little check step here. Is 2.5 times 6 minus 13 equal to 2? If I put this in the calculator, I'm going to get 15 minus 13 equals 2, 2 equals 2, so it works. A lot of times your check step is just going to be something you put into the calculator so you can make sure your answer is correct. All right, moving on to example number 2. We're going to solve negative 12 equals 9x minus 6x plus 15. First thing, simplify each side. The left side is already simplified enough, so I'm just going to keep that as negative 12. But on the right side, I'm going to put the 9x and the minus 6x together to get 3x. Then keep the plus 15. I'll maybe highlight that so you can see what we just did there. Now I can subtract 15 from both sides. I'm going to get negative 27 equals 3x. Divide both sides by 3, and I get negative 9 equals x. Do a quick little check step here. Is negative 12 equal to 3 times negative 9? Actually, sorry, I'm going to check it from the very beginning. My bad. Is it 9 times negative 9 minus 6 times negative 9 plus 15? So that's negative 12 equals negative 81 plus 54 plus 15. I get negative 12 equals negative 12. Again, I'd recommend that this whole part right here, you put in the calculator and just let it go right from all that to negative 12 to double check it. Okay, There are 3 on your own. So I'm going to have you pause the video, and then when you're done with those 3, you can unpause it to check your work. I will tell you the answers. So go ahead and pause the video in 3, 2, 1, go. Welcome back. You should have had n equals -3, -20 is equal to your c, and then x equals a -1/2. Okay, let's go to the next page. All right, so page number 2, let me zoom in here, example number 3. Let's just keep doing our business here. First thing, distributive property. We'll distribute this over to get 2 minus 2x plus 3 equals -8. Remember, the first step was to simplify each side, then do inverse operations. So notice no inverse operations yet. I'm going to now combine my 2 and my plus 3 to make 5 minus 2x equals -8. And now, since the left-hand side is simplified, I can do my inverse operations. So let's subtract 5 from both sides. I get -2x equals -13. And then I'm going to divide both sides by -2. And I get x equals, and we can write it 2 ways, 13 over 2, or 6.5. Now, to save some time, we're going to let the calculator do all of the check steps for us. We're going to practice the calculator here. So the check step for the calculator, we're going to use the original. We're going to type in 2, parentheses 1 minus this. So in this situation, the decimal is easier to put in the calculator since it's a terminating decimal. So we're going to put 1 minus 6.5, and then we'll put plus 3. We want to check, does it equal -8? We're going to put the whole left-hand side into a calculator. And it just so happens when I do that, I do get -8 equals -8. So it worked. Now, there are 6, count them, 6 on your owns in this next part right here. I would like for you to do those. And then when you're done, you can unpause the video, and then I will tell you the answers. So go ahead and do those in 3, 2, 1, go. All right, answers. Now that you're back, you should have had x equals -6, d equals 11 over 4, or 2.75. I'll take either one. Y equals 5. Number 7, I got x equals 5. Number 8, m equals -5. And then number 9, I got x equals 1. Okay, let's now move on to example number 4. It says use the table to find the number of miles x you need to bike on Friday so that the mean number of miles biked per day is 5. Don't forget, mean is that average that we talked about in our vocab earlier. So that means we have to add them all up and divide by how many we have. So we have all 5 days over there, so we're going to take all 5. So 3.5 plus 5.5 plus 0 plus 5 plus x, and divide it by mean is how many data points? Well, we had 5 days, so there's 5 points. And they said they want this to equal, means equals 5. So let's first go ahead and simplify the left-hand side. Let's add up all those numbers together. 3.5 plus 5.5 is 9, plus 0 is 9, plus 5 is 14. So we really have 14 plus x over 5 equals 5. From there, we can continue solving. And that's where I'm going to multiply both sides by 5 first. I want to get rid of what I'm dividing by. So when I do that, I'm going to get 14 plus x equals 25. And when you subtract 14 from both sides, you're going to get the x equals 11 miles. You're going to go 11 miles for that Friday ride so that you average 5 miles a day. let's go ahead and go to the next page here, or last page. There's an on your own here about a formula and the nozzle pressure of a fire hose. So they give you some information. I want to see if you can put in that information, and don't forget your units at the end. So when I tell you to, go ahead and pause this video and then unpause it, and I will go over the entire problem with you, not just the answer. So go ahead and pause it in 3, 2, 1, go. All right, welcome back. Your setup should have been 50 equals 1/2 n plus 26. And then you're going to subtract 26 from both sides to get 24 equals 1/2 n. And then from here, you would multiply both sides by 2, and you're going to get 48 equals n. So the answer would be 48. But notice the unit here is pounds per square inch. So pounds per square inch. Now there is another way you could write this. You could put LB for pounds divided by inches squared. Those are both proper units that you could put, either one of those. All right, let's go ahead and move to example number 5. Your school's drama club charges $4 per person for admission to a play. The club borrowed $400 to pay for costumes and props. After paying back the loan, the club has a profit of $100. How many people attended the play? So you want to think of the whole situation. First, you might want to think of you started the whole thing with a negative $400. Okay, so that's how much money you spent. So you're in the whole $400, but you're going to add $4 times every person that attends. And at the very end, you ended with $100 profit. That means how much that you actually earned. So at the end, it all equaled $100. So there's our equation. So now what we can do is we can add 400 to both sides. And that's going to give us 4p equals 500. Divide both sides by 4, and you're going to get p equals 125, but the unit will be people. So 125 people showed up. All right, last but not least, go ahead and do this last on your own, and then I will tell you the answer. 3, 2, 1, go. First thing you're going to have is you probably should have drew a picture and showed that 2 sides of the rectangle are W, the other sides are 3 times the width. So if you add up all those sides together, you get 8W equals 96. Divide all that by 8. You get that W equals 12 feet. But you have to put the 12 back in. So 3 times 12 means that the length is 36 feet. All right, that's our notes for the day. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. If not, we'll see you here next time.